We need to talk about the elephant in the room, GameStop being down 12%. But before we do that, what just happened? GameStop finally came out and they announced their purchase of Bitcoin. They bought 4,710 Bitcoin, and the current market value would be roughly $513 million based on what Bitcoin is trading at right now. Now, before we get into the bloody charts, I actually want to state that it's not as bad as you think, at least as of right now. We are not out of the woods just yet. In fact, this is probably the best and possibly last time to load the boat. Nothing I say is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Watch until the end of the video. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Turn post notifications on. All of that is free. Okay, first things first. GameStop is now the 13th largest company with the most Bitcoin in the world. Based on their holdings as a public company, they are now in spot number 13. When did GameStop purchase Bitcoin, and why is this acting so bearish? Well, first things first, I do want to state, based on what we're tracking with Bitcoin, this isn't a good thing to see because I expect Bitcoin to smash right down to here, right down to 102 and hit the retracement zone before entering a higher bull rally. Okay, so that I will get out of the way, and it's playing out exactly like that. That also correlates with the SPY, which we'll talk a little bit about later. Okay, so one bad thing that I want to state first off. Now, it's likely that GameStop purchased Bitcoin between February and mid-May of 2025. Bitcoin, or Ryan Cohen, strategically announced today the purchase of Bitcoin. Why? Well, that's up for interpretation, right? He could have possibly been trying to move the stock higher, or, maybe, you can't really pinpoint. Everyone can take a guess, everyone can speculate, but what we do know is that this was less than 10% of their assets. So what is it? Lottery stocks, what does that mean? Well, I made a video on that, right? They didn't have to disclose it today in an 8K, but they did, which is odd, right? There's a reason for this. The Bitcoin conference is going on. GameStop is, I believe people are covering GameStop tomorrow. Now, it's not the actual company, but that will be covered tomorrow in the Bitcoin conference, as well as tomorrow being May 29th, where we should see max volume. I'm pretty excited for what's to come. I'm going to stay right now. I didn't sell any calls. I didn't sell any shares. And I took a fat hit in the portfolio, as some Discord members would probably guess. And then as some probably also took a hit. You guys may have also taken a hit. Now, it's not worth giving back all of these gains, so I'll show you the charts in 1 second. But the Bitcoin purchase was likely between this timeline. I'll bring in the drawings right here. This white line back here, February 5th, and then this white line, May 15th to possibly May 25th, could have happened all the way up here. Worst case scenario, they bought at 109,424. You know the reasons why. That would mean they purchased way up here. If we get that news, it's probably not going to be too good for GameStop. That would be the most unfortunate thing. The fortunate thing is that they bought such a small amount. They didn't have to release the 8K, and they could have, best case scenario, purchased at 74,500. 74,500. Now, they could have purchased anywhere in this region, and this would have been between about 100K and 77. Most likely scenario, assuming they bought neutral point, they probably bought at 85K. So that would be pretty bullish. Let's jump into the charts. We're down 11.5%, trading at 30.98. Yesterday, we closed above 35. That was a beautiful thing to see. And then we come in today and we got slammed. We got smoked. We got slaughtered on the charts. This is a huge red candles that you're seeing, and GameStop is being pinned back into this channel, back below the mid-range of this channel at 31.30, and heading for what we said we really need to hold above, which is about $30.15. Somewhere in this zone is where I hope there's a bottom for GameStop, and I'll call it right here. Anywhere below 30.50 and 29.30. If we break under this at all, this is going to be very bad. Do I think that's going to happen? No. I would be surprised if we even got to the bottom of the channel around 29.75. But let's talk about this. Why is this not bad, Lottery Stocks? This looks pretty bad. Our portfolios are getting slammed. Well, here's the May run up. Now, before the May run up, before the biggest move we've seen, we saw a ugly pullback in the chart after we climbed and grinded higher. This pullback was about a 15% pullback, 15.73%. Here is the January run up right here. This is the climb we seen, and then a very, very ugly pullback, and not even grabbing the top of the wick, but just from open, this bar right here, a 36% retracement and a close down about 23%. Both of these scenarios, the next day, GameStop had rallied hundreds of percentage points. That is not necessarily what is going to happen tomorrow, but AMC also confirms it as well with the algorithms that we're seeing. So AMC has this overlaid over it. So we expected a big pullback today and some chop trading for the rest of the day today, coming into May 30th, which is Friday. And then possibly the 30th and going into the weekend, we see massive moves for AMC as well as GameStop. And this is ultimately what we're seeing, right? You're in kind of early stages of what we could be seeing. We're probably sitting around the 21st of January. So if we brought that back to GameStop, let's see if that lines up. I actually didn't check this. Yeah, if we're sitting around the 21st, that would bring GameStop somewhere around here. GameStop actually looks to be trading somewhere right here where we got this major pullback around the 25th. If AMC was trading around the 25th, we would actually be in this chop zone before a massive move higher, which would be 2 days later. Ultimately, we have things lining up for Friday, and I don't think the charts are looking too bad just yet. We got a huge shakeout, and it shows, right? GMEU as GameStop's leveraged ETF is becoming hard to borrow, as well as obviously we're on the short sale restriction rule list because GameStop's down more than 10%. Does that change anything? Not really. They still abuse this loophole that there is in here. But ultimately, from the high, GameStop's down about 16%, which is a big pullback, but it's an average pullback. It's actually down about 18% now from the high. It's about an average pullback before the move higher that we're about to see. And just like Roaring Kitty said, coming into May 29th, you're expecting max volatility, max volume. So if we hide the drawings right here, we have been seeing a decent increase in volume. Yesterday, 33 million. And the day before, 30. The day before, 21. So we have seen increase. Today, it looks like we could possibly see an increase as well on the downside, which is very, very much so not good. But like we said before, when you come out of this region, they really try to slap it back down. We are still in an infinite feedback loop, but the selling pressure is worse now because just like delta hedging to the upside, market makers delta hedge to the downside and increase selling pressure. And that's why you're seeing such sharp moves down. They basically turned off this gamma ramp for now, smacking this down. Now we really need to see where it's going to close out. Best case scenario, I think we get a close back above 32.85. Worst case scenario, I think we push under 30. I do not want to see that happen. So I'll just put that right there. Unity's up 9%. It's time to put an eye on this. I don't really know why. I didn't see any news on it, but we know that there's a lot of conspiracies regarding Roaring Kitty and Unity and all this other stuff. So let me know if you guys have had a piece of Unity in your portfolio at all. Jumping into the SPY. This is the 2021 time frame. Very, very simple. If you are what you say you are. No, if we are where we say we are, where we think we are, right? This is a very, very similar pattern. So what's the SPY going to do, Lottery Stocks? Well, we are either going to trade up in this channel for a little bit for the rest of the week, right? Which isn't going to be much. We'll probably top out, like I said, 598 to 600. We'll probably top out somewhere up here. And then we are going to likely begin gapping down Friday or Monday. Friday or Monday, we're probably going to see an open that's that gaps us lower and head for that retrace down below 570 to 567. And at that point is when I see Bitcoin bottoming out this weekend at 102. We're going to see a lot of red in the water. And GameStop's either going to begin its move tomorrow, Friday or Monday, or tomorrow, okay? Worst case scenario, what do we see for GameStop tomorrow? We don't see any bullish momentum. If we see no bullish momentum, I would be pretty scared, okay? So we'll leave that right there. That's what the SPY, that's Bitcoin. That is leading us into Nvidia, which is going to drastically affect the markets. Here's what I'm thinking, right? A lot of people are anticipating a big move on Nvidia. I have been calling for over a month that I believe we see 150 by earnings. Here's the possible scenarios. We see 150 by earnings, SPY hits 600, probably tomorrow coming into Friday, just grinding up. Nvidia saves the market, and we get some super bad news Friday coming into Monday. We start gapping down, right? Somewhere in that time frame, somewhere over the weekend. And that would be a local top. Scenario number 2, Nvidia doesn't really go anywhere on earnings, right? We chop sideways, SPY opens slightly red, maybe slightly green tomorrow, and we still chop for the rest of the week until Monday we get an ugly catalyst and we drop off a cliff, or maybe Friday after hours Nvidia announces something along the lines of that. So ultimately, what I'm expecting, I would still stand by my 150 target, which would bring the SPY to 600. And then prepping for the weekend, we are going to get a drop off. This is all in my opinion. Nothing I say is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I talked about a stock yesterday that I gave you guys last night on the channel. It's up 160%, which is just disgusting. And it was up higher than that. I covered the stock at 23 cents. It came all the way up to about 70 cents. That's disgusting. Let me know if you guys played this at all. Make sure to check the top link in the description to join my Discord. And then the links under that are going to get you up to 60 free stocks, earn you 8.1% APY on your uninvested cash. All you got to do is sign up for Moomoo, make a deposit into there, and they will start giving you free stocks. Make sure to get in my Discord. Tons of benefits in the Discord server. We are getting new members. Come join the family, guys. Come chat together. Get my custom indicator. Tip jar if you want me to cover a specific ticker. All that other stuff. That is it, guys. I love you all. God bless. Lottery Stocks out.